And that hake looked delicious. And there's so many great ingredients that Spain is known for, from peppers, pork to fish to great selection of some of the world's best hams, I think. And I picked two other ingredients today, which is some oranges. Now, Valencian oranges are the most famous oranges, I think, around the world. They're slightly smaller than these, sweeter. These are Spanish oranges. And we've got almonds as well, which obviously Valencia and Spain is so well known for. And I'm going to do a boiled orange and almond cake. And all we do with that, first of all, is boil the oranges. And you boil these for literally in water for about an hour.
You actually, the whole thing?
The whole thing, as they are. And then all we do is we take 450 grams of orange. So once you boil them, because they soak in a different amount of water and very different, so you want basically 450 grams roughly, which that is. And all we do then is we take this. It's one of the easiest recipes you'll make for a cake. Throw the whole lot, oranges in.
Really?
Sugar in. Almonds in. There's no flour in this sponge. And then 6 eggs.
Wait, James, there's no butter. It's you and there's no butter.
Yeah, but there's cream coming later, Chris.
Okay.
Oh, you see, you know. Yeah. I give with one hand and take with another. But there's plenty of cream coming up, and all we do is we just basically blitz this up. And that's it. And you basically stick it in a lined cake tin, which this is. Cook it in the oven. That's your orange cake, done.
Your section was easy this week, wasn't it?
Yeah. Carry on, nobody's noticed that.
Yeah, that's fine. It was going so well.
But all you do is you just pour that straight in.
Right.
So no fancy chips or hang a steak in this one, you see?
No, very rarely. Yeah. I mean, I know you're known as a baker, but I don't imagine you use steak or chips in your cakes much, I hope.
Well, it has been known. It has been known.
Has it been known?
Yeah, a few almonds on there. And then in the oven. Now, when I was reading about you, you first studied English Lit, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
At university?
I did, yes, I did that.
So what made you get into stand-up when you were doing that, then?
What can you do with English Lit? I got into stand-up because I was bored, actually. That's the truth is that... Because no one tells you about that year after university when all of the things that you could do in a student union, like putting on plays or whatever, which is what I used to do, you can't do that anymore. And I just wanted to do something creative. And I can't play an instrument or draw or do anything like that. The simplest thing you can do as a creative thing is stand-up, because somebody else organises everything, you just pitch up with some words. I know people find the idea of it terrifying.
It is kind of terrifying, because it's basically, there's no set, there's no pan you can go to, it's just you, and that's it.
Although who's to say that cooking comedy won't be the next...
True, as well, thing, yes. Yeah, it has been known on this show, but it is. I mean,
there's a lot of slapstick earlier with it.
Exactly. But it's quite nerve-wracking, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, to begin with, I don't think you can... You've got to find a way through that. I mean, some gigs still remain quite nerve-wracking.
What's the most nerve-wracking gig for you, then, if you could pick anything that you've done in your career?
The first one, without a shadow of a doubt. Because the very first one that I did was in a pub in Manchester, and it was an open mic night, and I turned up really early, way ahead of everybody else. And the next people through the door were Carolina Hearn and her then-husband Peter Hook, who's the bassist in New Order, one of my favourite bands at the time. And... it was just terrifying, and all I can remember of that gig, to complete silence, is Peter Hook's face. He's just looking at me like that all the way through the gig, and it was absolutely horrendous. I wouldn't have done it again. Dave Gorman was in the audience and said to me afterwards, "Oh, it's a rubbish crowd. You should try again." And I wouldn't have done it if he hadn't done that.
That was the divine man was giving it up?
I don't know, maybe I wouldn't. I mean, there's nothing to say, is there, that I wouldn't actually have gone, no, I am too much of a show-off to let this lie. But, no, it was horrendous, that first gig, yeah, definitely.
Because a lot of stand-ups go into writing, and you went into writing for radio, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, I've written a few shows for the radio. I wrote a couple of shows, The Ape That Got Lucky and Civilization, and then I did one with Andy Zaltzman and John Oliver.
That was the Department, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right, the political... comedy.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff. Because stand-up now, in the old days, in the sort of 70s and 80s, comedy was telling jokes, kind of pub jokes. But now, one of the main things is that you have to have your own material. So there's a lot of writing involved in stand-up.
But
that's the hard bit, actually. People think the tough bit is standing on stage, but you were show-offs. That's fine. The hard bit is sitting in a room going, "What's funny? What is funny?" That's the worst.
Because when you look at your career and you run about what's funny, a lot of it's to do with politics and political sort of stuff. Definitely. You did, several series. Another one's coming up shortly. You've done the movie which got nominated for an Oscar as well. Yeah. But that has got a lot of politics in it. Is that easy to find storylines? Is that why you went that way? Or?
One of the weirdest things about I didn't write that show, but one of the things that we found with the thick of it is that it's not just easy to find stories, particularly now that people like the show and so they want to kind of give us the stories by the backhand. But also...
Is that how it happens, you reckon?
A little bit, yeah. There's a little bit of people going, you know, we do this thing. But quite often, actually, we found that we've made something up and then it's happened. so you think you can... You
could make up any story. It's bound to happen in politics, isn't it?
This is so ridiculous that this is clearly, you know, a massive exaggeration for comic purposes. No, and then someone rings us up and goes, how did you know?
Because you're about to set off on tour as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
This is, what, next couple of weeks?
Next couple of weeks, yeah. It starts on the 16th, I think, 16th of November in Stafford. All dates at chrisaddison.com. That's right, kids.
But a big tour. I mean, a lot of these guys are touring for years.
Yeah.
39 dates is a big tour.
Well, I thought that, and then I was talking to Dara O'Brien, and, you know, and his tours are like 150 dates and stuff, which I just... How can you do that? It's sending me insane. But, yeah, it is long. It's quite long if you've got a family to sort of schlep around. But the touring bit, I don't mind. Once I've got the show, I kind of don't mind that bit, and I like going round and I like the travel. But it's the bit where you're writing the stuff. That's when it's...
And then, of course, it helps when you're on the tour because you can easily, you know, get a DVD out there ready for Christmas.
That's right. You can, James.
Go on,
coincidentally, I have.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, on the 40th. That's for the last tour. The last tour's DVD comes out whilst you do the current tour.
Yeah.
So that's out on the 14th of November. We filmed it ages ago, so I've kind of forgotten it. I don't want to watch it in case I don't like it. But
I've watched it and it's good.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're
very kind. You're very kind.
Right. So we've got. This is just basil. Now, I saw you eating that.
I love basil.
Basil in desserts, it tastes like pistachio nuts when you cook it.
Oh, really?
But literally with this...
What have you done with it, then?
That's all just blitzed with some sugar and water into a stock syrup. And that's the almond cake that's been in the oven, quite a low one, about 350, about 170 degrees. That goes in for about 40 minutes. And then that's just a real whipped cream, vanilla, and then you've got the basil through it. But it tastes wicked with that.
Oh, it does, doesn't it? There's pistachio.
There you go. Well, best of luck on your tour.
Thanks, boss.
On your DVD. There you go. And what we're cooking for Chris at the end of the show, it could be his food heaven, of course, langoustine. I'm going to remove the shells, layer them with langoustine, spinach, puff pastry and a creamy salmon mousse. And it's simply sliced and served with a sauce made from all the shells and a few herbs on the top. Or it could be that dreaded food hell, cauliflower. Cauliflower is blanched and blitzed with cream and butter. There's the butter again. Until it's silky smooth. And served with rolled steamed fillets of plaice and a few pickled turnips and just a little crab meat on the top. I'm not mad, it's just got butter in it. There's no phone in today, so it's up to our studio guests to decide which one Chris will be getting. So, Anna, what would you fancy? Food heaven or food hell?
Heaven.
Heaven it is. Vicky, any ideas yet?
Going towards hell.
There you go. But you have to wait to the end of the show to see the final result. Right, it's time to find out whether Valentine Warner thinks we should all be eating right now. Apparently, it's pumpkin. What else could it be with Halloween weekend?